What are your expectations tonight, Coach?
We're not looking at the opponent. We're not looking at wins and losses. Right now we're really looking at different options with our vets and different options with the guys that are trying to crack the lineup. So we're going to put guys in different situations, and whatever we start with doesn't mean we're finishing with it, or every period I'm going to look at how I can put guys in positions where we can see what they've got and where they're at. Yeah.
What do you like about the combination with Pajot and on that line?
Well, we're preparing for Brass, not being there for the next weeks, and we don't know if, he's going to be ready to go at the beginning. So, I know that Bobby and Stone have a good connection together. They play well, and trying to keep that. And last year in the playoffs with Pajot, they look really good. But obviously, when Brass is back and Turi's in the lineup, we got different options. But I think right now that's what I want to see from those vets. That if we have to start the year, if if I start tomorrow morning, maybe that's fun for you guys. And Brass is not in. I would have Pajot there, and I would have Turi in between Smitty and Hoff, and then we got to find another center that's going to be able to crack our lineup to play with Burrows and Zingle. In the fourth line, Thompson and Pyatt. So right now it's either a center there and a winger, and if Brass is back, then it's probably a winger we're looking at. So there's forwards. There's definitely spots. They're wide open right now, especially with Brass. So hey, the forwards again, they can't get a better chance than that. We don't have, with Mac not there, we basically have 11 guys under NHL contracts with the forwards. So that's good for forwards. With defensemen, it's the opposite. We've got a plethora of quality players that are ready to make NHL. So it'll be a major competition from within, and you can see the guys that have done well in camp. Obviously, you look at Chabot. That's clear. Yaros is going to open up a lot of eyes. He has already. He's a great mix of energy and toughness and jump. And Englund's a kid that we think is going to be eventually another NHLer. And obviously the other guys are battling for spots on D. The guys are supposed to be American Leaguers. You never know. And a kid like Lajoie, I think, has really impressed last year, really impressed this year, and that's why he's still here. So, but every game, there's a guy that comes up big and makes you think, and you got to play him the next game again, and maybe the next game after that.
I understand playoff hockey is different, but can you have reasonable expectations to see Bobby Ryan continue that kind of play to start this year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bobby went through a tough year last year, and there's a lot of personal stuff in there that's nobody's business, including me. But he worked real hard at taking care of his personal life and free his mind, really. By the end of the year, I thought he was great, and then the playoffs, he was outstanding. And I knew he could get there. And his shape, he came in terrific shape. Like this year's, it's the best he's ever been. Plus, I know what he's about, what he can do, and what he showed is a great hockey player. And that's how he started. He's free-minded. He's in shape, and I think that's exactly where we want him to be to start the year.
Is he a 30-goal scorer, or is he the 25-goal scorer that's been here in Ottawa?
See, the minute you start putting numbers in people's heads, that's the minute you screw up with their minds. And it's about him playing a great, hard two-way game, and he can do that, and that's what he did in the playoffs. And when you do that, the results come, and that's where he's at. So that's why, for me, it's more about having that hard two-way game in mind than any numbers. And that's going to give him the opportunity to get the ice time and the opportunities last year. I'll be honest, last year I shortchanged him, and I did it on purpose because we wanted him ready mentally-wise and emotionally-wise and on the physical side too. And it was a hard grind for him, but it was the right grind for him. And I think right now everything is in the right place, and that's why it's more than hopeful. I know he's going to have a good season.
Coach, the great playoff run you guys had last year, how important is that? Is that a springboard that you can use, or you started at ground zero?
What it is, it just tells you what your potential can be. That's it. The rest, you know, the experience part and all that stuff, it's something you have in your mind, but it's not something you've done. You've done nothing this year, zero. Like the big mistake, and I've lived it, and everybody that's got that experience of making it that far at any level, you think you're there when you start the year, you think you're back at the end of the year, and you're not. You're absolutely not. And two things happen is, one, you think you're better than you are when the opponent's going to be hungrier. All the teams in our division pretty much improved. You got a lot of teams that are coming in guilty and hungry because they didn't make the playoffs, and you know, they get new enthusiasm because new guys came in. So there's so many things that come into play starting a year that the minute you sit back and you think you are where you were at the end of a long and hard process last year, you're done. And that's what happens very often. Historically, the four teams that are the last four teams in the playoffs usually have trouble starting. Why? Yeah, there's an emotional, physical, there's a wear down, and you get less weeks to train, less weeks to come back, but there's a gigantic part of that it's a mindset. And we've talked about it with the players already, and they're doing a terrific job right now of being really hungry and engaged. And especially, we're going to have all kinds of adversities on top of that, those natural adversities, which is probably Carlson not starting on time, Broussard, we're not sure. So already there's a lot of things that are going to be hard to manage, so we can't be sitting there thinking we've done something. We've done nothing. The only thing we've done is we've created the hope of having really high-end potential. That's what we've done. And so now, come start the year, it's the difficult task of knowing that we've done nothing yet, that we have to build everything from scratch again, but knowing we can is the positive thing, and that's what we're after right now.
Is a shorter summer better?
Usually no. That's why it's hard for those last four teams to start again. You know, talking to some coaches, and they've lived it last year, and even high-end teams like Washington last year. You know, I was talking to Barry. He says we had a lot of trouble getting going again. And a lot of it is it's a mindset, and it's hard. It's human nature. You know, you've done something great, you don't feel necessarily the urgency, and like I said, sometimes it's the guilt. Sometimes, so right now you got to make yourself hungry again fast enough so that you start on time. Because if you start a month late, the NHL, you're in major trouble. So we're going to make sure that we're very thorough, and that's why I like our vets right now. I really like, everybody's looking at the rookies, and I am too. I really like the players' attitude coming in. They're coming in, they're asking questions, or what are we going to do with this? And the guys want video to get ready for their roles, and so it tells you that we're in the right frame of mind, and we have to be. So we have to give ourselves a chance to start with the best chances possible to have the right mindset. And right now, our guys are showing me that they're hungry.